Thanks for waiting. I'm really not going to make much of a statement. As you know, I made a request for the judge to issue what we call the gag order, and the judge is going to issue it on a reciprocal basis. So I'm not going to say anything that I didn't say in my papers and in court. We submitted a written motion last night that states our position. I'm not going to say anything in addition to it, but I didn't want to leave all you guys hanging, and I wanted to say at least that I wasn't going to say anything. So that's all I'm going to say and not say. Thank you all. I hope that gives you what you need, but I'm not going to say anything that I haven't said in court and that I haven't said in my court papers. So you all have a nice day, and thank you very much.
How is he doing?
Can you clarify the terms of the gag order?
It's full of social media. It's bullshit. Fugazi. I saw your whole motion. You put it together with
Sean Diddy Combs appeared in federal court today. It was the music mogul's first appearance before a new judge who will preside over his trial on sex trafficking charges. The previous judge recused himself because of a relationship with one of Combs' attorneys. A trial date was set for May 5th of next year. Now, prosecutors say so far, they have seized 100 electronic devices from Combs that are now working to extract data. 51 of them were found at his L.A. mansion during that raid in March. Others found at his Miami estate and on his person during a search at a private airport in Florida. Now, Combs remains in federal custody after previous requests for him to be released on bail were denied. He also denies all of the charges against him. Joining us now is ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky, who was in that courtroom. So, Aaron, first of all, it sounds like authorities also subpoenaed records from Combs' company as well. What's the latest there?
They did. We don't know what they subpoenaed, but we know that prosecutors believe Combs did not act alone. He's the only one charged, but they believe as the leader of what they've called a criminal enterprise. There were a network of people who worked for him, who enabled freak-offs, these orgies that women were allegedly forced to partake in after they were drugged and held against their will. So prosecutors are amassing a lot of evidence. That's all going to be part of this trial now set for May 5th.
And of course, that reignites the question here of will we see more defendants named? But also, Aaron, we know that Combs' lawyers are accusing federal prosecutors and agents of leaking that hotel surveillance footage of Combs that prosecutors say shows him attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And Aaron, we know this was originally obtained by CNN, but what are both sides in this case arguing about that piece of video?
Well, the defense is accusing the government of leaks, and they want it to stop. The government says that's a baseless accusation. The government didn't even have the video before it aired on CNN, a prosecutor said, and they said this was just a defense tactic to try and get a damning piece of evidence removed from the case.
And Aaron, since you were in the courtroom there today, what was his demeanor like today? And does his team at all have a chance of getting him out on bail before this trial starts in May?
Diddy was a lot more relaxed today, Kana. He looked a lot less bloated than we've seen him during prior appearances. He was in a jail-issued beige, kind of ill-fitting smock and pants. He was shackled at the ankles, no handcuffs, so he was able to wave to his mother and children who filled 2 rows of the courtroom. The defense is still asking for his release on bail, but they have an appeal pending before a federal appeals court. So there was no application today. And the defense, if they can't get him released, are going to stick with MDC in Brooklyn, this troubled federal lockup. So far, it seems to be going well, the defense says, though they say they reserve the right to try and move him somewhere else.
All right. We know there's a lot to come still. All right, Aaron Katersky, thank you so much for being here with us today. And also, for those of you watching, if you want an in-depth look at the recent arrest here on the music mogul, you can tune into a special edition of ABC's 2020 The Secret Life of Diddy is streaming on Hulu.
Sean Combs, popularly known as Puff Daddy, appeared in court yesterday. And I can tell you, it was a very emotional moment for me personally. And I can tell equally, it was a very emotional, mixed feeling moment for the family of Puff Daddy and Puff Daddy himself. While he appeared in court for the very first time in front of Judge Arun Subramania, this is a new judge who was just recently appointed by Joe Biden after the former judge, Andrew Carter. I can tell you that a lot of people feel really sad for Puff Daddy, even though there are also a whole lot of people who are also expecting justice to play out from the whole scenario or from the whole case. You know, why Puff Daddy saw his family, his children, his mother, you know, he smiled at them, he waved at them, you know, while entering the courtroom. And it will further interest you to know that Puff Daddy was equally refused bail the very third time. And that means that Puff Daddy will remain in custody until his trial begins. And during the court appearance yesterday, the new judge, Judge Arun, made an announcement on when the trial of Puff Daddy will officially begins, and that is 5th of May 2025. So as we speak, Puff Daddy has been taken back into the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, where he will remain until his trial date on the 5th of May 2025. I can tell you, a lot of people who saw him appear on the prison shirt and a khaki trouser got emotional because the reality is finally done on Puff Daddy. Now here are the highlights. Puff Daddy has been charged with racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking, and at the same time transportation to engage in prostitution. This trial will officially begin next year, 2025. But there are a couple of things to be really worried about. Information from the court appearance yesterday reveals that the government has over 98 pieces of evidence. The government has over 98 pieces of information, which includes laptops, tablets, phones, that contains varied of evidence over the activities of Puff Daddy for many years. In fact, they express that some of the informations they have in some of the data storage devices, that they have not succeeded in breaking into them to actually unravel what is the content of such, information stored in such, devices. And it was equally maintained that all this evidence will be made available to the court. And what does that tell you? It means that if there are confirming evidence in form of video clips, messages, pictures that confirms that he actually committed what is currently being alleged, it means say that guy own don't finish. Another side of this story here remains. For the people who are currently trending all over the internet space, who have had one or two things to do with Puff Daddy, if truly some of these people had something to do with Puff Daddy, there are chances that their video clips and their picture evidences will be contained in these 98 pieces of information that the government has already, which are stored in laptop, phones, tablet, and other types of storage devices. And that is where most of the celebrities whom have been mentioned to have had one or two things with Puff Daddy should begin to get worried, because sooner or later their videos, pictures may be made available or be made public. The next court appearance of Puff Daddy comes on the 18th of December, and after that court appearance, his trial will begin officially from 5th of May 2025. Another thing to be worried about is this. There are some superseding indictments currently on the case of Puff Daddy. A typical example is the video clip that was released by CNN, where Puff Daddy was abusing his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, where he was dragging and kicking that young lady in a hotel room. And Puff Daddy's lawyer has went further to ask the court not to include this very piece of evidence as one of the indicting evidence that will be used in trying Puff Daddy, that they should rather remove that very video clip as part of the evidence. The judge said he will make his decision in the next hearing concerning that very piece of evidence. Good people, another side of the story remains that Puff Daddy's lawyer has also accused the government of trying to clamp down on Puff Daddy because he's a black American. His lawyer also accused the government of being responsible for that very video clip where he was kicking and abusing his girlfriend. He accused them for being responsible for releasing that very video clip. The government went further to say that they were not in possession of that very video clip until that video was released. Well, I sincerely do not know what will be the fate of Puff Daddy, because one thing that is also very worrisome is that according to the information available on the internet space was that 15 more persons came forward, to lay charges against Puff Daddy, accusing him of the same thing he has been accused previously, in line with what the ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, accused him of. A lot of people, including men and women, still come forward laying, almost similar allegations against Puff Daddy. The bigger question now remains, will all these people be able to come to the court to stand in as evidence against Puff Daddy? And in similar fashion, will people very close to Puff Daddy who have equally in the past participated probably in the freak-off parties or who have had one or two things with Puff Daddy also come to the court to testify that Puff Daddy never used force or coercion in bringing them, into joining the freak-off party or, forcing them into engaging in any type of, sexual activity? Because engaging in such activity out of your own volition, out of your own decision, without anybody forcing you, is not yet an offense. It is not illegal until when people begins to come forward during this trial period to testify or bear witness against him that they were actually, coerced or forced into doing some of those things he's currently being alleged. But at this point, I will allow you to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. My another person, Siam. God bless you.